Welcome back. You're watching Investor's Guide on ET. Now we've brought Feroze Azeez back in from Anand Rathi to help answer your questions. Feroze, thank you for joining us. Our first question comes in from Sandeep, who has a 10-year-old daughter. He wants to begin putting aside 40,000 rupees every month for the next 10 years for his daughter's education. What sort of investments would be ideal for an investor like him?
Since you're investing 40,000 rupees a month to just start with, I think you also can afford a financial planner who can process these applications and produce you a monthly statement giving you a synopsis of what has happened over a month, and reviews become so much more simpler if you had somebody to handhold you during this journey of 10 years to save for your daughter. Now coming to where do you invest this 40,000 rupees, let me recommend you 3 good schemes which will do justice to the money and definitely increase the probability of being able to accumulate reasonable corpuses for your daughter 10 years from now. So the first one would be JP Morgan India Equity Fund. The second one would be an ICICI Focus Blue Chip. These two are the large cap ones, and the mid cap one and the small cap one put together is a Sundaram Smile Fund. So these 3 funds, split your money 15, 15 and 10 irrespectively in the order which I spoke about.
Next question is from another young investor. 26-year-old Aradhana has written in. She's a first-time investor. She'd like to put aside 3,000 or 4,000 rupees a year. Aradhana, that's fantastic. I'm so glad you've made that decision. That's half the battle won already. We'll give you a couple of funds that you can invest in. Feroze, could you help her out?
Aradhana, the important part is that you've also already got into you've inculcated savings as your habit, irrespective of the quantum of the saving being not very large, as you've indicated. But it's very important that in initial phases of your career, you start saving up, and then that's the prime reason why you can actually create huge amounts of wealth. These initial phases of investments actually cascade into huge maturity values. So good job in terms of saving up some monies in the initial phase. Now coming to what schemes should you buy, I would recommend you 3 of them. Birla Frontline Equity Fund, where you can put 1,200 rupees, SBI Magnum Mid Cap, where you can put 1,200 rupees again, and then you can put about 1,600 rupees in Franklin Templeton India Income Opportunities Fund. Franklin Templeton India Income Opportunities Fund, that will be a debt fund. So these are the 3 funds. If you split your money 1,200, 1,200 and 1,600, you will have almost about 50%, more than 50% in equity, and about 1/3 of it in debt.
Last question comes in from 33-year-old Vinayak, who's written in. Now he says he'd like to start tax saving, and he wants you to recommend a couple of funds that he can invest in. Additionally, he's invested a lump sum in Reliance Diversified Power Sector Fund. I know you're not happy with that right now. He wants to know what he should do with that fund. Well, the advice on this show, Vinayak, is that you should always avoid thematic funds, whether it's a pharma fund or a banking fund or a power sector fund. Just stay away from those funds entirely. Make your own life simpler by using equity diversified funds. Don't go into any fund that focuses on a particular part of the market, because when that part of the market does badly and they take turns to do so, then your returns will come down. Instead, use an equity diversified fund that will spread itself across the entire market, so you don't particularly get hit at any point of time. But Feroze, if you were to give him an alternative, what would that be?
So rule number 1, never buy yourself a thematic fund unless you have your core portion of the portfolio well in place and is actually providing the stability. So the answer would be exit your 8,400 rupees. Don't wait for the emotional number of going back to 10,000, because that's going to take some time or might not take time. But I think the strategy has to be clear that you need to have a core portion of the portfolio. The core portion of the portfolio will have 2 categories of funds. One would be a large cap fund, one would be a mid cap fund. In the large cap category, let me recommend you an SBI Blue Chip Fund, and in the mid cap category, look at a Franklin Prima Fund, which is a very good mid cap fund, both existing for long periods of time and have consistently beaten benchmark over long periods of time. So these are the core portion of the portfolio. And then comes, if you're really interested in making life more difficult for you, that's when you get into a thematic fund.
All right, so what have we learned this week? Keep your investments simple, and of course avoid those whole life policies and money back policies and endowment policies from insurance companies. Stay with simple investments that you can understand. It's a wrap on Investor's Guide. Thank you so much for watching. Email ID is at the bottom of your screen. So is my Twitter handle. Stay in touch.